I know her as a very wonderful person who wants to do things for others. So please welcome Asmaa Soliman.
Thank you very much for this introduction, really, and I also wanted to thank UPF for organizing this brilliant event, and I also want to thank all the previous speakers for your inspiring speeches, really. I guess I'm going to be a bit academic, unfortunately. I'm really interested in how discourses are created, so I'm going to take this into the context of gender, equality and emancipation, and also how different concepts, how meaning are given to different concepts such as feminism, etc. So my title is really Empowering Women, a Common Project, Moving Beyond the Us versus Them Discourse. So really what I want to stress is that the Fight for Women is a common project of women from all over the world. And I think that unfortunately sometimes we have this us versus them discourse, which is very much reflected in the West versus East. And I really feel that we have to go beyond that. And that these discourses really divide the world into the ones who can be empowered and the ones who can't. I think that these discourses are really problematic because on the one hand they generalize, and on the other hand they often put whole communities into one box, and they accuse a particular religion, a particular culture, a particular region as inherently oppressive or as inherently bad, and this also creates a lot of stereotypes, unfortunately, about particular cases. I think we really need to understand that oppression can happen everywhere at the same time. I think this is something really we have to embody and think about. It's not region-specific and it's not time-specific. If we look at the past, but also if we look at today, we are not over it yet as well. And I think what is really important is to understand that it's more about the individuals behind these oppressions. It's about individuals who have a very patriarchal behavior and to have this brutal thirst to have control over others. And then this behavior is often intertwined with different factors as well, education, lack of education, etc., etc. And I think it's a complex issue actually when we look at those who do the oppressing, really. But I think there are commonalities if you look at individuals from all over the world. It has very much to do with the individuals and their behavior and their characteristic and how they use their positions of power or misuse their positions of power. So I really want to stress that it's in discourses, unfortunately, sometimes it is depicted as something that is inherent in a particular culture, which I think is problematic. But what happens is that sometimes it can develop as an accepted tradition of the culture. And that is the problem, when something that is oppressive develops as accepted within a tradition, within a culture, really. And the more problematic thing is when women internalize that. When women internalize the idea that a particular tradition is actually good and the tradition itself is very oppressive. So I think that's really the main problem. Another point I want to talk about is really this idea that the concepts, the different concepts that we have, concepts of emancipation, concepts of feminism, etc. And I think that we really need to understand that there are different forms of emancipation. It's not one way. It's not only one way. It's not one way to become free. What does it mean to become free? I think we have so many different understandings. And we really need to consider that women are individuals at the end of the day, and they have their own ways, they have their own goals, they have their own ways, their own thinking and their own wishes. So it is really key to understand that liberation happens in various multiple ways, and this is actually beautiful. Like the diversity is something beautiful. We shouldn't be so keen to impose one particular way of emancipation, I think. And I think true empowering is really to encourage women to do whatever they want to do, not what we want them to do, really. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, we tend to impose what we want to do on others, and this is exactly what feminism is actually fighting against. And sometimes it really can become a form of oppression itself if it's this very narrow-minded view. And talking in the context of religion, I think that religious women in particular often face two forms of challenges. On the one hand, they face challenges within some communities where that are very patriarchic, but on the other hand, they also face challenges from particular concepts of feminism that see religion as necessarily oppressive. So they are dealing with all these different challenges, and I think it's important to take this into account. So yeah, just to conclude, I want to say that I wish that we really move beyond this us versus them, this East versus West, and really acknowledge that this is a common project that is really for all women, and that there are various ways of liberating oneself. Thank you very much.